Sign fraction multiplication. I'm thinking about my rules for multiplying and dividing, and it says that if I have a negative times a negative, it ends up being positive. So as a general rule, when you're just multiplying and dividing, if there is an even number of negative signs, I'm going to get a positive answer. So a negative times a negative makes a positive. If I have 4 negatives, I have a negative times a negative, which is positive, another negative times another negative, which is positive, and then I end up with a positive times a positive, which is positive. So if there's an even number of negative signs, it's positive. If there's an odd number of negative signs, then it's going to be a negative. So when I do these problems, unlike on the Alex program, I try to figure out the sign of my answer first, and then I worry about multiplying my fractions. I know that I have 1, 2 negative signs. I'm going to end up with a positive answer. I'm going to write it over there just to remind myself. Then I'm going to rewrite that problem without all those negatives in there, making sure I put my whole number over 1. So 2/9 times 8 over 1 times 3 over 5. Now I'm going to multiply my fractions. Keeping in mind I can reduce as long as the number's on the top and the bottom. I can't reduce the 2 with the 9, the 1, or the 5. Same thing with the 8, but the 3 I can reduce with the 9. 3 goes in here once and into here 3 times. I then multiply across the top. 2 times 8 is 16. Across the bottom, 3 times 5 is 15. My answer is positive, so 16/15 is going to be my answer. Again, we want the answer in simplest form, but not as a mixed number. So if you use your calculator to check it, it's going to give you the mixed number, 1 and 1/15, and then you hit the shift and the fraction button to change it into the improper fraction. Number 20, if I look at that one, I look and say, oh, there's 1, 2, 3 negative signs. Since there's 3 negative signs, I know my answer is going to be a negative. I'm then going to take 9 over 1 times 2 over 7 times 10 over 8. I'm then going to do some reducing. Well, I might do this. 10 over 8 I can reduce down. That's going to be 5 over 4. And then I look and say, oh, I can reduce that even more. 2 goes in here once and into here 2 times. And so now I can't do any more reducing. 9 times 5 is going to be 45. 7 times 2 is going to be 14. I know my answer has to be negative, so negative 45/14 is going to be my answer. Number 21. I've got 1, 2 negatives. If I have 2 negatives, I know my answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to do 5/3 times 9/10 times 7 over 1. I can reduce the 5 and the 10. 5 goes into here once, into here 2 times. I can also reduce the 9 with the 3. 3 goes into there once and into here 3 times. So multiplying, 3 times 7 is 21. 2 times all those ones is 2. I know my answer is going to be positive, so 21 over 2 is my answer.